Yeah, if you owe some shit, yeah, bro. I mean, with me, bro, I mean, and what fucks everything up is social media, right? There's guys that it's a repo man, black dude. And I think motherfuckers like them, ticket people, they're scum of the earth. Like, how do you get what makes you want to do a job to take people's shit? That just fucks me up, bro. I would never do no shit like that.
The meter maids?
But
You don't like
anyway,
meter
like,
maids?
you said what?
You don't like meter maids? The ones who go.
Fuck them too. All you do is just fuck around and just try to get people. Like, you don't know what that person's going through, nor do you give a fuck because you got bills to pay too. I get
Facts.
it, but like, how would you feel if somebody took your fucking car that you need for whatever?
I
You know what I'm
feel
saying?
that.
How would you feel if, you know what I'm saying, you got towed and shit, and now you're living paycheck to paycheck? You gotta wait. And how it works is they tow your shit, then they gotta pay them for towing your shit, for keeping it in their lot, and also whatever ticket you gotta pay.
With interest. Don't
Come on,
forget
man.
the interest.
Come on, my nigga.
Hold up. Here's a story about a man, a simple man, a man with a dream to do the world some good.
I'm sorry, my brother. How you doing, King?
How am I
You
going to
all
get
right?
this new? How am I going?
Sorry.
We about to
I'm
have
sorry.
the most,
Hey.
what am I going to call this one? I'm calling it right now. We about to have the most respectful, professional topic ever
Yeah.
because this might be the most serious
Well.
topic that we ever do. We talking the
You gon-
subject
you gon-
that you're not supposed to talk about with your mom, your dad, your cousins, your best friends, your loved ones. Nobody really. Is you and God, pretty
Jay.
much.
Jay.
What are you? I'm telling you, I'm not cutting nothing. So if that's
Okay,
something
no,
you
that's
don't
fine.
want on
I got
air,
it. No,
that
I
is
got it. I
you
got it.
you
But-
want to deal with that.
I'm sorry, but I just got to go pee. Really bad. I'm sorry. Jay. I know. You got to cut this. Sorry,
He
Jay.
think I'm cutting it. I'm keeping this the entire
Okay,
way. We
okay,
gonna
okay.
sit here,
That's good.
and
Okay,
I hope,
good.
I hope we
No.
hear the sound too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. No, I just want to make sure that because I've really been holding this shit in because
You
I
can mute
wanted
me.
to get.
You can mute. You can mute. You can mute me.
I'm not. I'm really not.
I'll just mute you. It's all right. Are you good, my brother? Are we good to record? We good to actually
I'm good.
start this?
I'm good. I'm good, brother.
Ooh, shit, here we go. Do we start that intro again? Nah, we gonna let it be. As y'all might have guessed from the thumbnail and the title and how somber and serious we've been this entire time, depending on how much this video has been cut and kept, we talking politics. We talking politics because recently, a former president on live TV was almost assassinated.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Now, I had no intentions for us to talk about this on Stand On Business. I know we started this platform with the goal of sharing our true, authentic selves and emotions without any filters or worry or concern. But when I saw that, I was like, that's for other people to debate and decide what it is and what it's not. But as I'm reflecting, it's about a week removed now since it's happened. As I'm reflecting on everything that we witnessed as a country and the rhetoric that's coming out of people's mouths on TV and even in just my daily life, listening to individuals like podcasts of people that I find influential, it's concerning the things that I'm hearing, so much so that I'm like, let's just have a real conversation. Two men who've known each other for quite a bit of time, who are very opinionated, who are strong in their beliefs, have an honest discussion and see what our temperature is, not only about the assassination attempt, but about politics and the country in general. Where are we at? So I want to ask you, Nu, before all this begins, where are you at right now when it comes to politics?
Honestly, I always wonder, like, what's the point of politics nowadays? I feel like, because at the end of the day, I feel like people are not really helped. I feel like, I mean, maybe they are. I just don't see it because I feel like this. At the end of the day, no matter who's in office, I'm still gonna have rent to pay. Still have to go to work. Still got to figure out car insurance, healthcare. You still got to figure out, I mean, just the way of just living life. You know what I mean? I don't see anybody giving, I guess, handouts, or I don't know. I don't want to say, like, okay, for example, right? We give billions of dollars to Ukraine and stuff like that to fight Russia, basically, right?
Yeah.
Because we can't fight them directly, but we can fight them to another country, right? But it seems like the biggest problem in the States that I keep hearing is student loans. So if we can give, what they give Ukraine, $10 billion twice over, some shit like that?
Congress has passed 5 bills totaling $175 billion so far.
I feel like this country is, and maybe it's because here's the political side of things. We have other interests. You know what I'm saying? That's more important than our own than what's in our own backyard. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So that could be a reason. But it's just like things like healthcare, college. Why is all this shit so damn hard to deal with? I mean, even healthcare, bro. Like they have tiers of healthcare, right? And then even the people that get free healthcare qualify for that, it's still shitty. You know what I'm saying?
So looking at kind of the national outlook on things right now, I think the top let me start with this. My top concerns right now, me, if you were coming to me as the president and saying, Jay, what do I want? The cost of goods is one of my main concerns.
What do you mean, like what, like food and shit like that?
Food, rent, vehicles, entertainment, everything is too expensive right now. Too many people in everyday life are struggling to make ends meet. They work 40 hours, 40 plus hours, and every 2 weeks they get a check, and half of that check, if not more, is already earmarked for something else. So cost of goods, things are way too expensive right now. And I'm not blaming one administration or the other. I'm saying that this is what concerns me. Number two that concerns me right now is, in fact, the border. The border concerns me, not because I care about where you're from, but my real concern with the border is that we have black people that helped build this nation up. This nation would not be what it is without black people that cannot afford to pay their rent, cannot find housing, cannot find a job. And yet individuals from other countries, all they got to do is cross over the border and the government is like, here's a place to stay. Here's training to get a job. Crazy to me that you can come across illegally into a country and basically get all the basic benefits that minority communities have been begging for, who have been here since the beginning of time. Where did that money come from? So we couldn't have done this for people already in the inner cities. Those benefits didn't exist.
Right. Now the way that we did get it right was doing illegal numbers, right? Drugs, you know, we've been able to enjoy that. But then when we get caught, they take all of our property, they take all of that shit, but they're not taking all these big corporations and shit that have plantations and shit. They don't take that shit. So I got a question. Black people, African Americans, right?
Uh-huh.
We're the brokest of the minorities, right?
Are we the
Financially.
brokest?
Yeah, and we're also the ones that spend the most.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy, right?
We're the highest consumers, right? So let me ask you this. Do you think it's wise, this is gonna sound fucked up, to give us reparations
Yeah.
just so I can go back into America?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I'm not saying all of us are like this, right? But for example, this is the best example I can get. So I was in I was on food stamps. I was in college, right?
Yeah.
And I went to the county office to apply for food stamps, right? And I played the role. I didn't brush my teeth. I wore some messed up
That's
shoes.
nasty.
I
You
wore
left that
sweats.
out, but no, we got you. We getting the picture. Yeah,
No. Because you want to play. Hey, you dress for the job you want, not the one that you have, right? So I go into the county thing, and like I said, going for food stamps. I looked like a bum, basically.
Yeah.
Guy in here has on Jordans, fresh jeans, nice little crisp tee, gold watches, earrings, and hair done all up, getting food stamps. And I'm like, why he need food stamps? He got on Jordans. Clearly, you can afford. You know what I'm saying? So my argument to that is, if we say we want these reparations and we do this and that, but then you get it and you gonna blow it on bullshit, and then you complain when all your money's out, because reparations will be the start of what? Generational wealth, right?
That's what we were all promised 40 acres and a mule. We didn't get that.
Right. And you're gonna get a group of blacks that, you know what I'm saying, do what they're supposed to do. But for the majority, the ones that's in the streets and doing that, it's gonna be more of a show-off show.
I disagree. I believe that, like we say all the time, we're not a monolith. I think it is wise to still give the reparations, because even if it were the case that a majority of us spent all that money on Jordans and Louis Vuitton and whatever, that's fine. You still have erased the division amongst us where we look around and go, where is our repayment for the 400 years?
So I never said that we shouldn't get them shits. I'm just saying.
Well, you said, is it wise? Your question was, do I think it's wise?
Yeah, is it wise? Because I think that would bother me. Because I'm like, I would get pissed off if I see my people not taking the money that they were given from our ancestors and blowing it off.
I think that's the same logic that the government sometimes uses when they're like, we're not going to tell people, hypothetical, that an alien invasion is happening because we think they'll panic and it'll be a nightmare. I don't like this assumption of we know what people are going to do. So I would still err on the side of give people the money. What they choose to do with it, that's okay. They've earned that. Allow them to make whatever decision they want to make with it, but you can at least go, I did my part. And I think the better part to focus on is there are those in the community, as we've seen when they tried to start Black Wall Street, that will do good. I think people are afraid of what black people will do with that money. They're afraid of the power that gives them. The closer we get into an equal playing field, the more those that be, the ones that are still stuck in the 20s mindset, don't want to see it because they're afraid of what will happen, that things will shift, which is still crazy because if you look at the map, y'all are still in power. Y'all still have the majority. Nothing is necessarily changing in the next, or at least in your decades of life. You ain't got to worry about it. And then if there's something to really be worried about, it's not even the black population that's predicted to be the dominant population in the next 100 years. It's the Hispanic population.
The Latino population is the largest ethnic group in this country, and they're also growing very fast. By the middle of the century, the Latino population is expected to hit nearly 30% of America's population. I should probably learn Spanish pretty soon.
That's great. I mean, I think about every black neighborhood I've ever been to, even like a black beauty store where all the black products are. Who usually owns those?
Asians and Mexicans.
Yep. I can't think of, I've grown out my hair my entire life. I don't think I've ever been into one in 30 years that had a black owner.
Oh, I have. But it was in where I'm from though.
Oh yeah? Yeah. See, I've just never seen it. Every time election season comes up, we see the same damn thing from the same two parties. It's time to beg through promises for the vote. Not just the black vote, everybody's vote. Hey, you vote for me and I promise you I'm going to build a wall across the border. There will be no more Mexicans, no more Muslims coming across the border. Hey, if you vote for me, inner city crime, that's a thing of the past. You don't ever have to worry about going outside and getting shot. If you vote for me, college tuition will no longer exist. How many times has somebody made a promise and it's actually come true? How many times has a president got elected and something has actually changed in your life?
I will say during the Trump era, it was a lot of money going around, a lot of scammers, that was the most scamming I've seen in my lifetime. I'd say that.
So you were getting called up scammers that we're talking about? Like a lot of those?
Okay, so you familiar with, so Trump, I don't know if this was him, but I mean, like, if you in California, if you apply for unemployment, right?
Okay.
You would get at least maybe like 4 or 6 bands a month. So you had motherfuckers, right, that had a job and would still get unemployment.
Which is crazy. Not supposed to happen.
You know, but it was happening, it was getting cashed out. You know what I'm saying?
And this is underneath the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I'm not saying
the Republican side of things is to say we want less government, which means we want less welfare, but you're saying that there was an increase.
And then all the scams with the PPP loans and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was a scam era. Like it was a lot of shit going on. And I was just irritated because I ain't getting none of the money. But that's another story. But
that's an accurate story because some of the individuals out there who were saying, well, if Trump gets in office, and right now I'm going to say I'm an independent, and I mean a true independent, where I literally do not fuck with either side because I believe they are cut from the same pie. When individuals like a Trump make promises like I'm going to cut taxes, you that's watching most likely are not the individuals that will benefit from those tax cuts. He is not talking to your broke ass right now when he says, when I get elected, your income will remain either the same or you will have an increase in that income. We are talking about the ones that go to the country club with Trump. There's a reason that businesses and the 1% thrived when Trump was in office.
I did want to double back on something because I agree with you when you said food as well, because the food that we have is ridiculous. But I'm about to put you on game right now. Do you like cereal?
I don't. No, I don't eat cereal.
Motherfucker. Okay. Anyway, there is an ingredient in most cereals called trisodium phosphate. You know what that is?
No. I know phosphate's a gas.
Paint thinner.
Oh.
If you go to Home Depot right now and look for it's paint thinner. That is in cereal, bro. And it's used in cereal it's used as a to hold the texture or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this in food, bro? And you giving this to your kids? You know what I'm saying? Like our chicken, I think it's our chicken and some other of our meat is banned in the European Union because of what's in it.
Yeah. And this is why I said forget both sides of the aisle. And one of the reasons, and one of the very few reasons that Vivek Ramaswamy stood out to me, because in a debate, he was one of the few that called out everybody on the stage. All the Republicans, he said, you are all in the pockets of these lobbyists. Everybody on this stage is getting paid by the big pharma companies, the big food companies, the big gun companies, and you are really only here to promote the agenda that they want you to promote. And that's what I believe for both sides. I believe nobody truly cares about you or new or me. They care about how can I line my pockets in this economy, in this nation that we've built, that your sole worth is based upon your dollar amount. Is this the most tense you've seen it between the political oppositions, where Democrats Democrats won't even kind of consider a Republican nominee? A Republican will not even kind of look at a Democratic nominee. In fact, when I say the tenses you've seen it, do you believe if you were to walk into a room full of Republicans as a Democrats that you would get your ass whooped?
Growing up as a kid, bro, I'll say, like, I can say this. Growing up as a kid, bro, like, I've seen families more so, like, I think more like on the white side, but like they'd be like, yo, we can't fuck with them. They're Democrats. What? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real thing, bro. So if I'm a Democrat and I want to run for Republicans, I don't know, bro. I'm not really experienced enough in that world to know, man, how serious that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't take politics seriously like that, bro. You know?
And I think you're reflective. What you're saying is reflective of what I've seen as well. Is I keep seeing in all public spaces and medium forums and social media in general this message of, oh, we've never been more divided, and oh, be prepared because we're on the brink of World War III and Civil War. But if you get offline, if you turn on the television and you just go outside, everybody is living their life. We're going to bars, whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, all drinking together. There's no beef. I'm having conversations at the barbershop with Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. There's no beef. I'm going down the street, still saying not as much as we used to. What's up, man? How you doing? Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Outside suggests that we are not as divided as for some reason online platforms want us to believe.
I will say this though. I think was it Trump? Yeah, I think during Trump era, I think when he was running again for office, you turn on the TV, TikTok, whatever, and you see people fighting in the streets. You see people with Confederate flags. You see people snatching those out. You seen them shits be riots over the government and shit like that. Like, in a sense, yeah, like people were divided, but I'm like, these people don't give a fuck about you. Trump not in there. You know what I'm saying? It brings me back to what you were saying earlier, man. They'll say whatever they have to say and get the right people going, start it up to do what they have to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To get into office.
Even in
so
those images and those videos, I think that you are carefully tailoring what your message is. So you're going to find the one-offs and make it seem like this is happening everywhere. I'm only saying that if you were to believe what TV and especially your algorithms that are tailored to the things that it thinks you want to see, then as a black person, you should be afraid of all white people. As a white person, you should be afraid of all black people. But when you go outside, I still have conversations with people from every race, and there's no ill will. I don't feel strange. I don't feel uncomfortable because that's not, online is not reality. It's what these political machines and these tech companies, for some reason, want to promote, when I don't think that's the actual case. So when you have two parties, technically, that are governing the country, and they're at opposite ends, and they're promoting messages, and they're hitting up their followers saying like, hey, if the Republicans win, oh my God, it's gonna be World War III. And hey, if the donkeys win, I'm telling you, forget everything that you believe in church or what's traditional. They're the ones that make you feel like it's the end of the world. And that's why I believe what we saw with the attempted Trump assassination is one of the scariest things and potentially one of the most damaging things that have happened in our country. So I'm going to pivot to that and ask you, did you watch the attempted assassination of former President Trump?
Yes, I did watch it. Absolutely.
What were your thoughts?
You want my? It was. I thought it was fake. I thought it was staged. Um, the reason why. Here's what I noticed. I mean, when you first see him, the shots ring off. A couple shots happen, and then he drops down. Right. Um, and then also, if you listen to what the shots are, now mind you, I'm listening through a phone or whatever, so I'm not there. So it didn't seem like the shots were real. And then I'm looking at how he got shot. They say it was glass, right? I don't know. If you got shot in the ear, some cartilage is gone, and your head's gone. Even if you got grazed by a bullet in the ear, your ears, some of that motherfucker's gone.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And then um how they Secret Service took too long to get to him. Not to mention he's sitting there talking about wait, 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 and then gave us a black power fist, exposed his whole head.
Mm.
You know, if you look at previous president assassinations from the '80s and stuff like that, Secret Service is getting them out of there.
When Kennedy got shot, the first thing you see is Secret Service come from everywhere, and they are jumping on top of the president. Now, mind you, he's dead. There was no missing there in that scenario. But what I didn't see in the Trump attempted assassination is that same level of you will not see Trump's head again. You will not see a body piece of Trump again. All you're going to see is
they're not listening. Yeah, they're not going to listen to him when he says, "Wait, wait, wait."
Yeah.
They're, Mr. President, we got to get you out of here. If I get
I
fired,
might not even tell you. You just might be getting drugged. You going into a car and the car is going.
It just didn't seem real to me, bro. I mean, just knowing what I know, and if you really got hit by a bullet, you're not going to drop straight down. You're going to go back.
I saw this at work, and I remember thinking I think I heard the sound, or I looked up and I saw him do this, and I wasn't sure what was happening. And then I heard bop bop, and I heard get down, and then I saw Trump get down, and then I just remember going, "Oh shit!" It did not seem real. It did not feel like I was living in the same world that I had been living in for the last 30 years. Because in my lifetime, I just can't think of an event anywhere near as similar. I never in my life have watched somebody actually try to take out a president or a former president. So it blew my mind.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch. I think it was Nixon.
But
No, you gotta watch.
I wasn't alive for it.
Oh, you mean that? You mean in your lifetime?
Being
okay,
alive,
my fault,
even 9/11.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I was a baby. 2001? That would have been first grade for me. I wasn't watching that on television with the comprehension of what it was I was seeing. Seeing that.
Oh, we were.
Say what?
They turned that shit on for us.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure. So, I'm sure people saw it, but I'm saying like at that age, the comprehension level to truly understand what it was I was seeing, what this meant for the world. It didn't shake me like seeing what it meant to see Trump shot on or shot at live television. So I went through a range of emotions, and my first thought was like, "Oh, this is BS. This has got to be some kind of campaign stunt." And I couldn't rectify in my head why at this particular junction Trump would need a campaign stunt like this. I didn't understand who in his room would be like, "Yo, you know what would be great if you get shot, but don't worry, at the last minute he'll miss and he'll just graze you." I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand where at this moment the whole country was pretty much saying, "Biden, we need you to step down. We need you to submit to another candidate taking the Democratic nominee." Why Trump would at that moment of seemingly being ahead in almost all the polls, even if it was just by 1%, would go, "Let's double down and get me shot at." So it was like, on one hand, it was like, oh, this feels staged. But on the other hand, it was like, I just don't see the MO. I don't see the motive. I don't see the plan here. And then as the week progressed, or the days progressed, we learned more about several individuals had gotten injured in this attempted shooting, ended up in the hospital. One individual had actually lost their life. And then it became more of like, no matter what it was.
Was it 2 guys that got killed?
No, just one so
far. The guy
far.
did the shooting, another guy?
Oh, okay. Well, if you're counting the shooter, yeah, but I don't give a damn about the shooter, bro. Regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, what he did and what he's done, fuck that guy. The can of worms you've unlocked, it just can't be understated, right? Because on one hand, if you had accomplished the mission and actually killed Trump on national television in front of everybody, I truly believe we'd be entering a civil war That'd be it. God forbid he had been a minority. But watching a former president get shot when already people believe that Trump's election was stolen from him, when people believe that he is their savior and he's going to right the ship that they believe America is fucking up right now, watching him die on national television, there's going to be a movement to fight back against the left. And blood is going to be drawn. Now, on the opposite side, he did not accomplish his task. He missed. But I think that's just as dangerous because now you have solidified the movement behind Trump. You have made the individuals that already believe in him, I'm going to die for this man because I just watched him get shot at, stand up, throw up the Black Power sign, and say fight. Whatever that means, whatever your interpretation is, but that solidifies me if I believe in Trump. This is my Jesus come to life. He is here to save me. I'm going to do whatever it takes for him to win. So what happens when the elections roll around and he doesn't win again? I was already kind of like, oh, wishy-washy. If he wins, he wins. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I still may not believe it. But now you've given me a fighting image. You've given me a propaganda image. That perfect still shot of blood across his face and his hand in the air, that is the rallying cry. That is, we win or we fight.
You know what, bro? Honestly, I don't think people want to be saved. I think people just want to be entertained.
Ooh.
Looking at these last elections with Biden and, you know, I mean, bro, especially when you see people like think, and the reason is why I feel this, because the debates.
Yes.
I think it was debates from last election. They were going, you would have thought they were brothers, the way they were talking to each other.
Who we talking about?
Biden and Trump.
Oh, okay, got you.
The presidential debates, they're not, so if they're not taking that, if Trump doesn't take that seriously, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that might change the face of the people. They're like, oh, well, Trump is such a, the way he talks, the way he interrupts them and doesn't respect them. Like, I think that we missed the point of what really needs to be said and done. You know what I'm saying? For the American people, when you see shit like this. So I think now we're getting to the point where you can't even take politics seriously, bro.
This, though, to say that, and the rumors are, the things that you're hearing right now, especially from the right, saying that Biden is somehow behind this.
Who said that?
The right side. Like, if you go on Twitter, you're seeing people saying, like, this is a conspiracy plot from Biden to have Trump eliminated. And I just feel like this is what I mean by the two-party system being the furthest away than we've ever been. When in history have we had now people openly saying that are in public office, the sitting president is behind an assassination attempt? The fact that that's happening now is so far beyond standard, conventional thought, decorum, professionalism. It's hard to fathom. A public figure who has the ability to sway politics is saying a sitting president was behind the attempted murder of a former president. That's scary. Now, what I will say is that if it don't smell right, if it don't look right, well, then it's probably not right. Something about this isn't right. I don't know what it is, but it is weird. From just the basic protection security detail standpoint, you have the individual who is going to be the Republican nominee and potentially the future president at an event where 150 yards away, a football field and a half, there is a roof. It looks like it's the only roof in the area. The only roof that the protection security detail would need to secure and make sure nobody's up there. And nobody does that. So far, in fact, the only thing that we're hearing is there were people inside the building. Add on to that the fact that I think they've came out and said it's about a minute and a half, where individuals were like, hey, guy on the roof. Hey, over there, there's a guy on the roof. Y'all see that? There's a guy on the roof.
Yeah, look, there he is.
Because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals.
He's on the roof. He's right.
We have people that
Right
should not
here,
be here.
right on the roof.
It's much
He's
tougher
going
than
up now.
So I did protection security detail for 9 months, maybe 9 months to a year, where it was my sole job to protect a general, a colonel, and a sergeant major. So
Oh yeah, no, I never did that.
okay. So it was a special assignment. got to do it for 9 months. I started off in the the soldier role, and then moved into the management role. And the one thing I want to say from that, because I don't want to be like anybody else and be like I'm an expert. No, far from it, because we had literally a 3-man team. There's not a lot of protection we can do as a 3-man team. But what I want to point out is that I've seen and have experienced that a lot of shit can go wrong when protecting somebody, especially when you're understaffed, undermanned, and under-resourced. Things that from the outside look like, oh, there's no way that could happen, I could see happening and being like, no, we didn't do proper scouting. We didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough people. I looked at that, but I figured that this area was more important. Things can slip through the cracks, and it look wild on the outside.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's what that is.
I agree.
Let me ask you something else as we wind down this political debate. Do you think that there is a world where minorities should vote for Trump?
This is not going to be a helpful answer at all, and I know what I'm saying anyway. I'm indifferent, bro, because I mean, like, you vote for one. So last election, right, when it was Trump and Biden, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's mind was so caught up on how bad Trump was that it was a movement, and they all voted for Biden. Who's to say that wasn't the plan? To make Trump out to be the bad guy so everyone goes
I like
to
the way
Biden.
you thinking. I love that. I like the way you thinking, my dog.
Now this one, right, I feel like it might be a shift. They're saying, oh, whatever the case may be with Biden, he's too old, he's falling asleep. Well, what if that's the thing to get motherfuckers to vote for him?
Come on now.
No.
Tell them what the real script is, my brother. Tell them what the
I'm trying to find
real
it.
trick is. I'm going to make you
trying to
look
find it.
here when I really
Right.
need to be doing the shady shit over here.
And I'm gonna say this. I don't think that someone is racist or out of their mind if they vote for Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just because Trump says questionable stuff or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, Biden's more reserved, right? Way more reserved. But who's
Right.
to say he ain't, you don't know his background.
Oh yeah, no, he had some racism in him. I don't know if I believe in this whole I used to be racist, I'm a reformed racist. Kind of like Camila Cabello, the singer. How you a singer and not know Camila? Havana na na na. I lost my heart. Yeah, that one. Her. Yeah, that's Camila Cabello. Okay. Well, we stopped, or I hope black people stop fucking with her when she came out and said, what did she say? Let me get the exact quote real quick. So I can't find the exact quote. You can do that part of the legwork for yourself. But Camila Cabello recently resurfaced in controversy because it was revealed on her old Tumblr accounts that she used to share a lot of racist jokes, mainly towards black people. And so when this came out, she apologized and said, I am now in what they call racial healing sessions. She had to go to a racial healing camp to learn how to be a better person. She even came out and said, as I learned more about other people's experiences in the world, I was like, how do I help the people who are on the front lines of dismantling systems that create oppression?
That is the most diplomatic shit.
The dumbest shit. If you have to go to a camp to learn that racism is wrong, you're full of shit. You're full of
racist.
And you're racist. Thank you. And you're fucking racist. And you don't just magically, there's no magic seminar that you go to and it's suddenly like, oh, you know what? I actually like black people. Asians, they're all right. Otherwise, we'd send every motherfucking racist to that damn camp. Doesn't work that way. So fuck her, first of all. But I say that to say that Biden does have a past. And in that past, there was one particular congressional hearing, not congressional hearing, but congressional session when they were talking about the separation of blacks and whites.
But no matter what your intent, there are going to be those who say it's a segregated thing, it's a question of race, and that you have set back the movement of desegregation of schools. How would you answer that?
The way I answer that is I predict that the young black leadership of America will overwhelmingly decide with me. I predict that in 1980 and 84, my position will be totally vindicated by the sociologist and by the civil rights advocate. You know, I come from that side of the track. That's where I'm from.
And he stood up on TV, you can look this up, and basically said, yes, I believe slavery is wrong. Yes, I believe blacks should have some rights. But, Beto, they should be separate from whites. I think that we're doing more harm than good if we start intermixing. So let's keep the blacks in their place over there and keep the whites in our place over here.
Would you have a problem with someone that you was close to but they voted for Trump?
Would I have a
If
problem
someone in
with
your family
somebody
or
voted Trump?
if your brother was like, hey, I'm voting for Trump. And he
Yes,
gave you
yeah, I'd have a
great
problem with it.
reasons. And he gave you great reasons that are not racist.
It don't matter. It don't matter. And it's
Okay.
not no Democratic.
Why?
It's not no Democratic answer because, again, I'm not a donkey either. I said it once.
What's your
the other day.
opinion, though?
They both suck. But the reason that I worry, or I say that minorities should not vote Trump, is because who his base is comprised of. I don't start with this sentence, and I don't want to make this a race thing, but it's got to be. Whites are going to be fine no matter what. I'll say it again. No matter who's elected, whites are going to be just fine. Meaning that whatever policies come out, it's not going to negatively affect them because of their race.
Especially if they got generational wealth, it's not going to affect them at all. So yeah, I agree with that.
Minorities, on the other hand, if you vote Trump, you are opening the door for the potential of individuals who would like to see you, those of us in the marginalized communities, remain there or be worse off. This is why 2025 is making a circular is in the press a lot right now, because there are points in this project that Trump may or may not use, but it's part of his base and they want him to use, that call for the end of basically being able to go to court and sue somebody or an organization for being racist. You got a project that's basically saying if we come into power, we can start charging individuals for protesting. Things that we take for granted that help us in our fight to equal footing become a lot more difficult when Trump, and more so the people that follow Trump, come in office. You have a side right now, Supreme Court made, 6-3, mostly conservative, majority conservative. What did they do? They removed abortion rights nationally. Federal protection, gone. Women who voted for Trump or who voted for Biden could have been like, well, I don't care either way. It's got nothing to do with me. I still got to pay rent, still got to go to work. Now you live in a world where you have to be careful where you live. Otherwise, when you get pregnant, doesn't matter if your brother did it to you, doesn't matter if you're walking down the alley and got raped. You have to give birth to that baby unless you go to a certain place. And I'm saying the same thing for blacks. I know that we have diverse friend groups and we like to hang around our white friends or whatever other race. And we get to shit talking, you go, you know what? I do agree with your conservative ideology. I do believe that we should own guns. I do believe that the church should be more involved in school. That's fine. Here's the problem. When you elect that person, your white friends who believe that will be just fine. The policies that come with Trump from those that are underneath him are going to affect you. Your life is going to change. There are going to be things that you took for granted. They're going to be taken away from you. And that is the danger of being conservative. I wish that we had an equal choice and could be like, well, we can equally choose to be conservative or liberal, but we can't afford to because one party, especially now, is being dominated by ideals that are going to harm marginalized communities. That's why I say I don't think I would be okay with somebody voting Trump. Not because I believe in Biden, but because I'm afraid of what comes with Trump.
Unequivocally condemn David Duke and say that you don't want his vote or that of other white supremacists in this election?
Well, just so you understand, I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, did he endorse me or what's going on? Because, I know nothing about David Duke. I know nothing about white supremacists. And so you're asking me a question that I'm supposed to be talking about people that I know nothing about.
But I guess the question from the Anti-Defamation League is, even if you don't know about their endorsement, there are these groups and individuals endorsing you. Would you just say, unequivocally you condemn them and you don't want their support.
Well, I have to look at the group. I mean, I don't know what group you're talking about. You wouldn't want me to condemn a group that I know nothing about. I'd have to look. If you would send me a list of the groups, I will do research on them, and certainly I would disavow if I thought there was something wrong. But you may have groups in there that are totally fine, and it would be very unfair. So give me a list of the groups, and I'll let you know.
Okay. I mean, I'm just talking about David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan here, but...
I don't know, honestly, I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
And that's the dangers of being a minority and electing somebody like Trump, because like New just said, Trump cares about one thing, the vote. Because really, I think he cares about power. That's what Trump is motivated by. I don't think it's about race. I don't think it's about the conservative ideology. I don't even know if he's really a conservative. I just think he wants to be president. That's all he really cares about. But the party he's aligned with, if you put them in power through him, you're going to make a mistake that's going to affect us greatly. So even if you say forget Biden, think about the consequences of the other choice. We cannot afford to be conservative.
That's a good way to end the segment. I don't know if you want to end it, but I mean, if you did, that's a hell of an argument too. I mean, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Everything that comes with Trump is what people should be worried about. Yeah, man. You know, yeah, you put it that way, man. I don't really have a rebuttal to that, bro. That makes sense. And but I do say this though. This is my problem, right? People are saying Trump is bad or whatever. I need to know why. You just gave an answer of what your problem was, what the issue was. I mean, the baggage that could come with. I think you and maybe my boy Deontay are like some of the, not the only people, but people that I know that I grew up with that would, challenge the
status quo.
The status quo. Hold on a second. Let's see why. Let me see what's going on. Let me see if I can understand this for myself first. Don't just agree with it because the homie over here said it's, blah, 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 blah.
Well, I think that's it. I think that's all the topics, all the thoughts, we didn't talk for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I think we done covered as much as we can cover. Well, an hour and a half really, but I had an extra hour because you was late.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it don't feel like you didn't have to wait. So, probably feels like you just showed up,
Oh, no, I definitely did have to wait. I was driving home.
Right. Definitely that.
Right, yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? I appreciate you, for stopping by. I appreciate you for, joining this very lighthearted, super simple, easygoing conversation. I want to end this by saying, who you voting for?
They had a speech written for me about what the people need. But you guys are the people. You know what you need. Better schools, better jobs, less crime. How many of you right now work 2 jobs just to have enough money to be broke? That ain't right.
Sounds like my brother.
If you work 2 jobs and at the end of the week, you got just enough money to get your broke ass home, let me hear you say, that ain't right. How many of you have children that they call stupid? Don't be ashamed. It ain't your fault. I asked my niece the other day, what's 4 plus 4? She said 44.
It is.
But that ain't her fault. That's the school's fault. Now, if your child's school has old-ass books and brand-new metal detectors, let me hear you say, that ain't right. That ain't right.